In this video, we will be covering navigating, using, and customizing the patient's electronic chart in TRAKnet PM version 3.0. To access a patient's chart, place your cursor into the search box on the left-hand side of the screen and type in the patient's name. Alternatively, you may choose your patient from the patient quick list along the left-hand side of the screen here. The patient's electronic chart is where all electronic information specific to this patient will be located. Let's start from the top of the screen and work our way down. An image for your patient can be selected by double-clicking the photo box here next to the patient's name. This will open a window to browse to the location of the file on your computer. Once you've selected your desired image, click OK. Your patient's name will be listed along the top of the screen as seen here. To edit any demographic information for your patient, click the Demographics button next to the patient's name. This will then open the Patient Editor window. The Patient Editor window will be categorized based on the type of information you are entering, such as demographics, ethnicity, race, language, and billing information. To make a change on this screen, place your cursor in the field you would like to change and type in the necessary information. The patient's chart also has a Comments tab here that will allow you to enter any internal comments specific to this particular patient. Once you have finished making any necessary changes, click Save in the upper right-hand corner of the editor window to save your changes. The Clear Patient button at the top of the screen will clear this patient from the screen, leaving a blank chart in its place. Moving along, the row of information located beneath the patient's name will allow you a quick overview of the patient's demographic information. This will show account number, date of birth, age, and gender. Immediately beneath this row of information are several buttons that will allow us to add additional information and place orders for the patient from the patient's electronic chart. The Medication/Allergies button will allow us to record our patient's current medications and allergies. To add a medication to the patient's chart, click the green Add button under the Medication portion of this screen. This will open a Search Medications window. Medications can be selected from one of three tabs. The Favorites tab will contain a list of the most commonly selected medications in your office. The Lexicomp tab will allow you to search the entire Lexicomp database for a particular medication. To search this list, simply place your cursor in the search box here and type in the name of your medication, then select it from the list. To then add this medication to the patient's medication history, click the green Add button in the lower portion of the screen. The SureScripts tab will show all medication history information for this patient available in the current SureScripts database. If this patient has been prescribed to from SureScripts in the past, these medications will show here. Once you have finished selecting your active patient medications, click Close. Allergies can be entered to the patient's chart from the bottom portion of the Medications and Allergies window. To add an allergy, click the green Add button in the bottom portion of the screen. This will open the patient allergies list. As with patient medications, you can use the list of favored allergies or the Lexicomp database to select an allergy. Adding an allergy to the patient's chart will function the same as adding a medication. Simply choose the allergy from the list, then click the green Add button on the bottom portion of this window. Finally, you may use the Unique Ingredient Identifier tab to search for a particular medication ingredient that you can add as an allergy. The information listed along the right-hand side of the screen will just be some basic patient demographic information for your review. Once you are finished adding medications and allergies to your patient's chart, click Close in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Moving along this row of buttons, the Problem/Diagnosis button will allow you to add a problem or diagnoses to the patient's chart. To do this, place your cursor in the search box and type in either the code or the description of the diagnoses you would like to add. Once you have chosen this from the list, click the Add button here to add it to the chart. After you have finished adding problems or diagnoses to the patient's chart, click the Save button in the upper right-hand corner and then click Cancel. The RX button will allow you to view the current list of all prescriptions for this patient, as well as write a prescription for the patient directly from the patient's chart. We will cover writing prescriptions in more depth during the charting portion of our training. The Alerts tab will allow you to add alerts to the patient's chart. These alerts can be set up to pop up at any time an action is taken for this patient and can be used to alert your staff of any important information about this particular patient. To add a new alert, click the green Add button in the upper left-hand corner of the Alerts window. Once you have finished adding alerts to this patient, click OK in the upper right-hand corner to close this window. The Orders drop-down menu will be where lab orders, radiology orders, and pathology orders can be generated and recorded for this patient. We cover generating orders in greater depth during our meaningful use training. Directly next to the Orders drop-down menu is the Actions drop-down menu. This menu contains several other options for adding information to the patient's chart. As most of this information refers to meaningful use, we will cover this in greater detail during our meaningful use training as well. The workspace row of tabs along the top of the patient's chart will be where images, billing information, past progress notes or phone messages, and encounters from a previous version of TRAKnet can be viewed. The Multimedia tab will be where all patient images and scanned documents for this patient will be located. You will also be able to scan documents in from this tab. The Billing tab will be where all billing information for the patient can be viewed and entered, such as insurance information, the patient's ledger, and any previous statements that have been printed for the patient. We will discuss adding billing information to the patient's chart in greater depth during our billing training. The Progress Notes tab will show a preview of all past encounters for this patient. To select a visit to view, click on the visit date from the list on the left-hand side of the preview screen, and the preview will open, allowing you to review that visit at a glance. To see any encounters that were created in a previous version of TRAKnet PM, you will click on the Encounters 2.0 tab. These encounters will then show in a read-only format for you to review. Finally, the Phone Messages tab will show a list of all phone call messages and notes you have added to your system about this patient. Let's return to the Workspace tab. The Workspace tab will be the default tab upon entering the patient's chart and will be where most of the workflow in your practice is focused. This tab contains several tabs of its own. The Recent Plan Items tab, the Last Visit Form tab, All Documents and Images, all of which will contain various documents or images that you have uploaded or generated for this patient. Finally, the Audit Log tab will show all changes and actions taken toward this patient on what day and by which user. Let's return to the Dashboard tab. The Dashboard tab is a highly customizable screen that will allow you to see and enter the information that is most relevant to you in the practice. We'll discuss customizing this screen in greater depth a little later in this video. On default, TRAKnet PM will come preloaded with several different dashboards to choose from. Information can be entered in the dashboard by simply clicking on each hyperlink and then making the selections as they pop up on your screen. Alongside the dashboard window, you will see several options referring to the current visit for this patient and other such information to be entered. The Open button will open the current visit for this patient. Next to that, the Tasks button will show any tasks that still need to be completed for that particular visit, such as X-ray orders or signing the note. The Superbill button will open a printable superbill for that particular visit. The Checkout button will check out the patient for their current visit. Moving along the screen, the Phone Call Message button will allow you to enter in any messages to another user in the practice or document a phone call you may have had with the patient. To send this message, click the Send Message button. To close the message, click Close this message. The Tasks button next to Phone Call Message will open a list of all tasks that still need to be completed for the patient as a whole. The Vitals button will allow you to record vital signs for this patient from the patient's chart. To add a vital sign, click the green Add button on this screen and then enter in all vital information. Once you are finished, click OK. Directly next to the Vitals button is the All Encounters button. This will open a window which will list all visits that you have ever had for this patient, allowing you to open them, delete them, and review them as needed. The New Encounter button will allow you to create a new encounter for this patient. We will discuss creating a new encounter during our charting training webinar. Finally, the Labs button will show a complete list of labs for this patient. The Print Forms and the Patient Forms button will allow you to print forms such as consent forms for this patient. Directly beneath these buttons is the Patient Notes box. This box will be a reflection of what was entered on the Comments tab under the Demographics screen. To add a note, simply type in the desired note and then click the Update Patient Note button. Moving along the patient's electronic chart, there are several buttons along the bottom of the screen that will allow us to add history information for our patient. The HPI button will open a window that will allow us to record the patient's history of present illness. To do so, simply click the Select button next to the HPI field you would like to insert, and then click Save at the top. The ROS button will open a window where review of systems information can be recorded. Likewise, the medical history, surgical history, family history, social history, and past history buttons will open their respective history windows where patient history information can be documented. We will demonstrate medical history for the purposes of this training. Clicking on the Medical History button will open the Medical History screen where you can make selections to record this patient's medical history. To make selections, simply choose them from the list along the right-hand side of the screen. After you have finished making your selections, click Save in the upper right-hand corner of the screen to save this to the patient's chart. As you can see on our dashboard, our selections are now visible under the Past Medical History box, indicating that these two fields are linked. The final two options on the bottom right-hand corner of the patient's chart are the Meaningful Use button and the Patient Engagement button. The Meaningful Use button will open a Meaningful Use dashboard where any objectives you have not yet completed for this patient will be visible. The Patient Engagement button will be where patient education and various other patient informational documents can be printed. We will cover both buttons in greater depth during our Meaningful Use training. Now that we have covered moving through the patient's chart and adding information to our patient, let's discuss how your office can customize this screen to fit your needs. Remember that TRAKnet 3.0 is a highly customizable software that will allow you to tailor the system to fit the given needs of each user in your practice. For example, your medical assistant can choose to see only information such as visit reason, active medication, and allergies. Likewise, your billers may choose to only see billing information such as insurance information and copay. To choose which dashboard you would like to view, simply select it from the drop-down menu underneath the Dashboard tab. Let's discuss how to edit these dashboards. To edit the dashboard you are currently on, click the Edit button next to the Dashboard drop-down menu. Clicking this button will open the Manage Template screen, where you will be able to begin editing the dashboard template as you see fit. Along the top of the Manage Template screen, you will see several options for categorizing, renaming, updating, and copying your template. To rename your dashboard, simply place your cursor in the Name box and type your new name. To update the current dashboard, click Update Template. To copy this dashboard template without replacing the original, click Copy Template. Dashboard templates function much like any word processing software. You are able to free type changes to this dashboard by placing your cursor where you would like to type and simply typing in the box. You are also able to format the font for your template with the menu bar along the top of the screen. From here, you can control font style, size, formatting, and alignment. More importantly, however, is your ability to insert what we refer to as data fields. These fields and links will allow you to instantly pull over important patient information or enter patient information by simply clicking the links in the dashboard, as we demonstrated earlier in this video. To insert a data field, simply place your cursor in the template where you would like to insert this field, then choose it from the right-hand menu. The Fields tab along the right-hand side of the screen will contain options that will allow you to create your own custom fields and selections. This tab will be more frequently used when creating an encounter note rather than a dashboard, and we will demonstrate them in our Managing Templates training. The Links tab in this menu will contain all data fields that will automatically populate with patient information that has already been entered, as well as allow you to enter new patient information. There is a very large variety of links available. To move through the various fields, simply click the drop-down menu underneath the Links tab. Patient fields will refer to more general fields for the patient's demographic information, such as address, phone number, and account number. Patient data will refer to more medically related information, such as past surgical history, vital signs, and social history. Moving down the list, visit fields will contain any fields that will bring up visit-specific information, such as HPI or ROS. The Miscellaneous tab will contain information more relevant to your practice, such as the user who performed the action or your practice information. Finally, the billing links will contain all billing information for the patient, such as insurance information and copay. To insert one of these links into your dashboard template, simply place your cursor where you would like to insert the link, and then choose the link from the drop-down menu of available links. In this example, we have typed in a preface to our link to indicate what that link will be on our dashboard template. While dashboards are highly customizable and can be designed however you so choose, a common design choice is the use of tables to help better organize the information on the dashboard. The templates that will come preloaded into your system will use this style. To insert a table, click the Table tab along the top of the screen, then choose Insert and Table. This will open an Insert Table window where the number of rows and columns for your table can be determined. Let's scroll down so we can see our table. Now that our table has been inserted, we can modify this table to our desired color and size. To do so, click the Table drop-down menu once more and click Properties. This will then open the Table Properties window. The Frame options will allow you to choose if you would like set lines between each box on the table. The Background Color option will allow you to choose the color of your table. Once you have finished making changes to the color and formatting of your table, click OK. As you can see, our table has now reflected our changes. The tables will then function as the rest of the template. You can place your cursor into the box on the table, then type any information or header you would like. As with the rest of the template, you are able to format this font with the menu bar along the top of the screen. Our font is a little difficult to read on our purple background, so let's change the font color. To do this, simply highlight the text in question, then right-click on it to open a drop-down menu. Choose Character from this list to open the font formatting window where we can select our color. After you are finished making any formatting changes to your font, click OK. As you can see, our font is now much easier to read. It's important to keep this in mind when designing your dashboard. As you can see from the pre-existing portions of our dashboard at the top of our screen, links can be entered into these tables as well. To do so, place your cursor where you would like to insert the link, then choose your desired link from the menu on the right-hand side of the screen. Using a combination of formatting text, tables, and links, you can create a dashboard that will fit your practice's unique needs. Now that we have finished modifying our dashboard, we will need to name the dashboard and save it to our list of available dashboards. To name our dashboard, we will place our cursor in the Name box at the top of the screen and then remove the text currently there to type our new name. Now we need to save our template. Since we do not want to overwrite our original template, we will choose Copy Template to create a copy and then click Save New Template. To begin using our new dashboard, we will need to click the Refresh button and then choose our new dashboard from the list of available dashboards. As you can see, our changes have been added, and we are able to immediately begin using our new link to start entering information into the patient's chart by simply clicking on the Smoking Status button. Our selection will then reflect on the dashboard. This concludes our training on the patient's chart and dashboard. Thank you for watching, and please be sure to refer to our website for a variety of additional training videos, webinars, and instructional documents.